our entire district and to represent the state of Michigan. So please welcome Jeff Irwin.
Thank you, Jillian, for that very generous introduction. I really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking some of your time to come out tonight and spend with us to talk about this state Senate campaign. It's very important to me, and I'm glad that so many of you could take some time to be here with us, so thank you. I also want to thank the host committee members. There's a number of folks here who were willing to put their names on this event and lend their credibility to my campaign. That's really important, particularly when I'm trying to reach out to new folks who don't know me already, to have folks who are willing to stand with me and encourage other folks to support me. So those of you who are on the host committee, I can't recognize you all, but if you could raise your hand. I want everybody to give you a round of applause. I'm going to give you a round of applause. I'm incredibly grateful for all of you who are willing to put your name on the event and help me with this campaign throughout the next several months. I also want to thank Bona Sera Underground, our host here, for having a great venue. And I also owe a special thank you to my children and my wife, Catherine. My children don't know what they're signed up for and what they're going through, but Katie has a little bit of a sense. We've been through this before, and she's incredibly supportive, and I owe her everything. So thank you very much, Catherine. It's important to have a partner in this kind of work because when you come home from Lansing and you've been fighting these battles on behalf of the people, it's great to have somebody who supports you and who shows you love and who can be a partner in talking about these important issues of social justice. I think that's one of the reasons why Catherine's willing to go on this journey with me, is because we know that this is important work. We know that there are people out there who need help, and we know that government can be a powerful force for good in our community. And so that's why I'm here. That's why I'm running. I want to change the world. I want to make the world better for us and for our children and for future generations. That's why I got involved in this work. And I don't know about you, but sometimes, being so passionate about this work, I get a little bit disappointed with some of the public officials. Sometimes, they say that they're going to do one set of things and do another, or they have a real strong program on the stump, but when they actually get to Lansing or they get to the seat of power, they don't seem to do the things that they said that they're going to do. And so I hope that the last 20 years that I've spent in this community being active on important public issues can stand as a good demonstration that when I stand up here and tell you what I'm about and what I'm going to do as your next state senator, that you know from having seen me in the last 20 years that that's what I'm going to do. So 20 years ago when I first ran for office, or 18 years ago when I first ran for office here in Washtenaw County, I said I wanted to be a Washtenaw County Commissioner because I wanted to invest more in human services. I wanted to fight for affordable housing. I wanted to fight for the homeless. And I wanted to fight for a cleaner, better environment for future generations. And through 11 years on the county board, I think I did that. We increased funding for affordable housing. We built a Head Start building and program over here on the east side. We built the Bona Center. And it was in my district when I voted for it. So over those years of protecting thousands of acres of natural areas and standing up for human services, I'm incredibly proud of the work I was able to do to actually take the campaign promises I made back in the late 90s and early aughts and make them real in county government. And it's those real tangible benefits for people who are in need that I'm most proud of. Then I had a chance to go to Lansing and spend 6 years in the State House. And I don't know if any of you remember back in 2010, but 2010 was a big wave election for Republicans. And I was swept in to a situation in Lansing where I was very much in the minority. And that was frustrating because a lot of these big ideas that I wanted to fight for, the idea that everyone should have access to a great education, the idea that everyone should be able to go to a doctor and get treatment when they're sick, the idea that every community should have safe streets without potholes and with good non-motorized trains, the idea that we could extend these benefits to everybody seemed to be pushed further from reality for real people, and that was disappointing. But having been in government before, I knew that there were real and tangible fights in the details up in Lansing. And there were real things that even with a Republican administration we can win on. So I say that because right now we're in this moment where dangerous people are in control of our country. And every day we see shocking headlines about awful things that are happening in Washington, D.C. or Lansing. We had to deal with a Flint water crisis, and now we have a president that's rattling sabers and threatening to take away people's health care and threatening war and devastation for some of the neediest people among us. So it can be very disheartening when you see these headlines and you think that the situation is intractable. But I'm here to tell you that below the headlines, deeper in the details, there's real work that can be done to help real people. So I'm just going to tell you a couple stories, and then I'll stop because obviously I can go on a little bit longer. I want to tell you a couple stories of ways in which, when I was in Lansing, even deep in the minority, we were able to make a difference on important issues for our state. So one of them is clean energy. Clean energy is an issue where there's real opportunities to work with the other side. And when I got to Lansing, I knew, because I had worked in the environmental movement for many, many years with the League of Conservation Voters, that in my third term, if I was lucky enough to serve a third term, we would be debating an energy policy that would have a bigger impact on our environment and the protection of the Great Lakes than anything else I would do during my 6 years there in Lansing. So knowing that, knowing the details about what was important, what was going to be in that bill 5 years down the line, I was able to start organizing in 2011. And what we did is we reached out to our most conservative colleagues, and we developed something called the Energy Freedom Coalition. And we engaged these Tea Party Republicans in the idea that generating clean energy at the tips of the networks, at people's homes and businesses, was a freedom that all Americans should have. And when we built that coalition, we were able to keep it strong enough such that when the energy package finally came up in the third year, there was a strong effort to get rid of home-based solar. There was a strong effort to stop that by the utilities and stop the thousands of jobs and all the opportunities that was creating, both for people here in Michigan who are working and installing those systems and for our environment. But we were able to stop them in the House. And the reason we were able to stop them was because we had a strong group, a strong Green Tea coalition that put environmentalists and Tea Partiers together to protect home-based solar. That's the kind of detail that is important and that can be marshaled for good effect in the future. Another example of how getting into the details can matter and how it can help people here in our community, it gives me the opportunity to talk a little bit about constituent services. Now, a lot of you probably hear, you listen to NPR and you listen to WMU and you read the paper and you read MLive and the Free Press and the News and you see these headline issues. And you want a representative or a senator, a voice up in Lansing who's going to paint that picture of a progressive vision. Well, I spent a lot of time doing that, but I also spent a lot of time trying to get into the details of these issues and work on constituent services. So when people in our community are having trouble with the bureaucracy, they can't navigate the unemployment system or they can't navigate the human service system, we spent a lot of time in our office trying to help these people. And did Jelani make it? I don't think Jelani made it, but I had an opportunity to work with one of our co-hosts, Jelani McGanny, who's in my office last year. We worked a lot of these constituent services, and this is a long way to get to the point, but one of these constituent cases was particularly important to me. A citizen came forward and said, look, my food stamps were cut from $90 a month to $15. You're my representative, do something about it. And so I thought, okay, all right, well, this is a federal program, I'm not sure what I can do. So we started getting into the meat of it, and we found out that there was actually 328,000 people, just like this citizen, who had their food stamps cut dramatically because of a change in the federal farm bill. And what I did is I started working into the depths of the system to try to bring Republicans on board. We got the faith-based community involved. We got the food banks involved. I had the Catholic Conference calling people. And we eventually, after a year of effort, many amendments, a lot of lobbying, we were able to get the governor and the House and the Senate to all pass an appropriation that meant that these 328,000 people are getting $75 more a month. That's a big deal. It's a real tangible benefit. Tangible change I want to fight for. That's what gets me up in the morning. That's what makes me passionate about this work. It's helping people in real ways. And I want to go back to Lansing and work on some of these issues where we have an opportunity to be successful. We have an opportunity to improve our education system, to fight for equal rights, to fight for a cleaner environment. But we also have real progress we can make on issues like criminal justice reform. Right? We've got Republicans who are interested in working with us on that. There's real progress we can make on improving our human service delivery system. There's real progress we can make on improving our system of elder care. These are all important issues that we can make progress on while we're out there trying to fight for that broad progressive vision that we all want here in Michigan. So thank you for being here. Thanks for hearing me out tonight. I really appreciate having you all spend some time to hear what I had to say. And if anybody has any questions about anything that you'd like me to answer in front of the group, I'm more than happy to do that. But most of all, I just want to thank you for being here.